stars of animation are shining. It's time to stay tuned. And now, here's your host, Bill Machi.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of Stay Tuned Live, the animation-themed talk show presented by Streaming the Magic every week right here on Facebook. My name is Phil Machi. I'm an animator, podcaster, and former Disney cast member, and it is my pleasure each and every week to host this show as we deep dive into the world of animated films. If you've been enjoying this series of interviews over the past 2 months, I'd like to invite you tomorrow night to an all-new live stream experiment hosted by yours truly. It's called Phil's Artist Conversations, and it features fellow artist and close personal friend of mine, Mario Mora. We're going to take a closer look at the lives of working artists and analyze what it means to pursue a creative professional life. It promises to be an excellent discussion, so tune in tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, on Facebook.com/Stay Tuned Show. Okay, a few weeks ago, I welcomed one of the members of Disney's Fine Art Division, and tonight I'm thrilled to talk to another one. This small team of fine artists each bring something truly spectacular to the table with their individual interpretations of Disney's beloved character library. Tonight's guest is no exception, but he is exceptional as seen in his brilliant work with oil and acrylic paints. And since 2002, he has painted over 600 images for Disney Fine Art alone. Here to discuss his story and inspirations, please welcome Rodel Gonzalez.
Hey, Phil.
Welcome, Rodel. Hey,
thank you.
I'm glad to have you here. Me. Well, it's my pleasure, and I love the painting line. We got paintings already right there. Look at that.
Oh yeah.
Is that an ocean scene I'm seeing?
Yeah, it's actually Honolulu Bay. I was able to live in Hawaii for about 6 years, I would say.
Okay.
And, this is one of the shots that I did of Honolulu Bay from the top, those big waves. So
well, I've noticed
this in our new house. So that's the thing.
Oh, your new house. Well, congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you.
I've noticed that the ocean plays a pretty big part in your work. So is that from living in Hawaii? Is that kind of where that came from?
Well, I mean, I was born and raised in the Philippines, and we have 7,100 islands, and we're always in the beach growing up, and tropical, and then obviously moving to Hawaii. It's such a gorgeous place, and it's paradise. So I love the ocean. I love being. I don't really surf, but I love being out there in the beach and chill.
I like that.
Yeah,
I like
yeah.
The chill. Very good. Well, I'm really excited tonight to dive into your paintings, Rodel. Before we do that, I wanted to cover something first. I understand you were sought after as a fine artist, but it had nothing to do with animation. Is that right?
Yes. Just to backtrack a little bit, when I moved to Hawaii, 2002, I started painting again. I mean, I was born and raised in the Philippines, lucky enough to be part of the third generation family of artists. So from my grandpa to my dad, and pretty much all my siblings know how to paint. So I started dabbling on paint about, I was like 8 or 9 years old. And then going through high school, I was painting. I was going to the studio of my dad. When he's off the easel, we would just jump in there and just waste some canvas and paints and whatnot. But didn't really take it seriously. But it was sort of natural in a way, because watching my dad countlessly painting, mixing colors. Maybe it did something to me, just uh, instinctively, that when I sat on the easel for the first time, I kind of just imitate what's in my, what I saw from my dad, and obviously he started really teaching me the basics. And my dad also did not really finish fine arts, but he was an excellent portrait artist. Um, so I learned art in a very unorthodox way. And but when I took fine arts in college, that's when I started thinking, man, this is not happening. It's like totally opposite to what my dad has taught me or what I've learned. And it was just amazing how there's a lot of unlearning and relearning, and knowing that, hey, there's no one right way in doing art. There's many ways to get there. So
Sure. You think
but
if it wasn't for your dad, you wouldn't have gotten involved in painting then?
I would say so, because I mean, like I said, growing up, I would say the highlight of my day was going to my dad's studio and watching him paint. Helping him out, cleaning his palette, washing his brushes and stuff like that. It's a chore for me in the beginning, but I just love sitting and watching him paint. And then when I know that he's off the easel, and I would just kind of feel him. I said, "Can I just jump in and do something?" Go ahead,
It doesn't
And so
always work that way, though. It's not always. I mean, I cleaned my dad's car a number of times, and it didn't make me a car guy. I mean,
yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I dabble a lot. Even I remember my mom would buy me extra notebooks in school because I end up, drawing a lot of things that's supposed to be for notes on school, but I would just sketch at the back first, and then I would eat up the whole notebook. I said, "Mom, I need another notebook." Like, that's what's just new. And then she would notice that there's a lot of just, dabbling and sketching.
notebooks? Do you still have all those old notebooks from when you were a kid?
No, I mean, my mom kept a few of my drawings when we were like first grade, second grade. I found it out when she died, when we tried to just clean up, her house, and saw old boxes, and I mean, lo and behold, she kept some of like the choicest drawings that we did from way back, and that was very precious,
That's wonderful.
amazing. Yeah, I know.
So you got started kind of at an early age, but you were your
And
favorite.
then I stopped. I just like any teenage rascal, you want to do a different thing, and I said, I'm not gonna paint. I wanted to become a musician, and which I pursued that, and I think I did that for 18 years.
Wow.
A lot of it was only to prove to my dad that I could do it, kind of thing, because he was very upset when I said, "Dad, I'm just gonna drop the brush and pick up a guitar and be a rock and roll star or something."
But from what I was reading, I mean, you kind of did do that, right? You kind of did.
Well, we did a dance somehow. My band, wow, like the band side A still on to this year. I mean, there's different members already, but my brother, who's the keyboard player, is probably the only original member of side A. His name is Naldi. But we started.
This is a band that's still back in the Philippines.
Yeah. But they tour here in the US, Asia, So we were like the top band for many years. And so that was good. We made a dent somehow in the music scene over there.
Well, great. I mean, look, I mean, you attack the arts from music and visual side, which is really fantastic. So I mean, what brought you back to painting? What was the lure of it?
Well, I mean, obviously, I did music career, I would say, and just burn the candles on both ends. I mean, I think my generation back in the days, I mean, everybody at least would know how to play an instrument, whether it's guitar or piano. This is back in the days when there's no PlayStation or, or iPhone and stuff. So everybody's just jamming the streets, and you got to pick up an instrument, whether it's a harmonica, whatever you can do, man. I mean, so it was such a good time back then. And so I just decided I'm just going to be a musician. But after traveling, after nightly gigs, you got really burned out, and I decided I want to get married. I cannot see mixing the two together. So I stopped and, moved to Hawaii and pursue my first love, which is art.
Okay. And did you go to school for either of those things, for visual arts or for music?
I finished interior design for some reason. Like I said, when I went to University of Santo Tomas, which is a prestigious art school, it wasn't connecting to me for some reason. I felt like I was, probably my cockiness back then, I felt like I wasn't learning anything. And then I said, this is just a waste of money. Let me shift to another course. And when I went to the architectural department, I'm thinking, no, this is too black and white, too, all kinds of, drafting and all. I said, it's not for me. And then, I saw the interior designing thing, and I said, maybe this is a good way to just finish at least, because my mom says, better get that piece of paper, better get that diploma.
Yeah.
So I just gotta be able to do something to finish college.
So you wanted to be more practical about it. So interior design was a way to be practical about being an artist without just saying, I'm going to go be a painter, right?
Yeah, at least in interior designing, I mean, you still have perspective, color theory, and all different subjects like that. 1 point perspective, 2 point perspective, all kinds of stuff. Sure. Which is, I think it was a good learning curve for me, even though, when I look at something, I know there's perspective there, but to be able to size it up and things like that. So it helped me somehow. But I practiced interior designing while I was doing music. I wouldn't say full time. I did it like 4 years. I did a few houses here and there, but again, it's work for me. I just love to play music that time. I said, if someone would want me to design their house or something, I would do it, but it's not like I'm looking for it. I guess I was just really lucky to be able to just focus on music that time. And
sure. So how long after you graduated were you then discovered by Disney to get pulled into the fine art division?
Okay, 2002 is when I picked up art again full time, right? I was in Hawaii, and I was very content being there, even though we're starting again, uprooting my whole family. My kids were just 11, 6, and 4 at that time. And I said, man, I got to get a job. So I did music first, since I knew a lot of musicians there too in Hawaii, just to make the quick buck while I'm starting to paint again. And I remember my first 3 months there, a gallery picked me up, one gallery, but didn't make a sale after. Maybe my first sale was after like 4 months or something like that. So I'm thinking, okay, this is not cutting it, so I better just continue with my music, and while I'm catapulting my art business. But somehow I believe in putting your 120% out there, and I keep on painting, just stacking up, and from one gallery, another gallery picked me up, then one gallery in LA, then started doing mainland and stuff like that. My first year in Hawaii is when I found myself being, I think, about 6 or 7 galleries representing me. So but I was doing from street scenes again to seascapes like this, landscapes, whatever I feel like I could connect with. But mostly Hawaiian scenes, because they love Hawaii, and I would do my own spin of Hawaii too. And then when a gallery picked me up in South Carolina, they wanted the low country stuff, the shrimp boats one. So when I'm there, I would take pictures and I do some local scenes over there. Again, I felt like I am a realist, but it's not like photorealism, because my goal wasn't to deceive someone that my painting is a picture, but I want to add a lot more details to it. But when you go near it, my painting, you see a lot of brushstrokes.
Do you know the painter Terry Redlin?
No.
Okay. He does a lot of like countrysides, farm scenes, things like that. So, it kind of reminds me of it where you wouldn't think it's a photo, but it looks like he's painting realism.
Yeah, and that's why, from going to that art career full time from 2000 to 2007, we moved to LA that time on 2007 because I felt like Hawaii won't be a good base since I'm doing a lot of art shows here in the mainland.
Sure.
So I moved my family to California, which is just smack in the middle. And that's when, I met Michael Young, was the CEO for Disney Fine Art. And at first, he would just go to my shows and stuff like that. And I never really knew him as the CEO for Disney Fine Art until when I worked closely with James Coleman, who is still a Disney Fine Art artist, but had a very good background working for Disney and doing the backgrounds for Beauty and the Beast, Fox and the Hound, Black Cauldron. Then I was offered to do, you want to have a license to paint Disney? And I said, and that was 2008, I think, 2008. And I was tickled because I'm thinking, okay, why me? Because I feel like I'm not really an animator. I don't really have a background in animation. But I think Michael believes in my art, and he knows that, man, just do, different scenes in the movie, get your take in it, and then do your spin. Like the one here that you see, on the scene, you see the Hi-Ho song, but it never really showed the full forest scene. It just shows them, and then the next scene is their backs going down after crossing the line.
I can see your brush strokes on the canvas. I mean, I love the textural quality that you've got going on with that sunlight, and then it feels like almost like a palette knife effect on that tree.
Right. I mean, I use palette knives sometimes, but I love putting thick strokes when I can, and I love not second guessing myself because I feel like it's an honest emotion, just trying to, again, do what you feel is right, in your eyes. So, and I know sometimes I'm pushing it. Like there's not really a scene of the Seven Dwarfs and the castle behind it. So they would allow us to do that. In fact, they would encourage you to do your own spin and not just screenshot a scene and paint it. They want you to do your own interpretation. So
you don't have a background in cartooning or anything like that with characters, right?
No. I have to... it's funny because in the beginning I'm thinking it's cartoons. I mean, I can do that, right? But when I started to draw Mickey, I'm thinking, man, this is so off. So, I would either Google or ask the guys in Burbank. I said, hey, do you have any, guidelines on how to, like, construction lines for the different characters? And they all have different sizes, the heights and all. Goofy and Pluto and Donald is shorter than Mickey. So I gotta learn all those. And I tell you, it's hard. Cartoon is hard.
What do you think it is about? It sounds like you're saying that the precise nature of cartooning is what makes it difficult. Is that be a fair statement?
Yeah, because I think Disney is very protective, I would say, if that's the right word, or protecting the integrity of the characters, the representation, right? I mean, it's got to be right on. Not unless, I think, if your style, because there's some Disney fine art artists that are really loose and they have their own style, so they're not really trying to copy the characters. But if you are, like, for my own style, I think you cannot wing it. You got to be able to be proportioned. You gotta do it the way they do it. It's there's a certain look. Like for me, the princesses are very hard to sketch because they all have different features.
Yeah.
I think the hardest one for me, well, Tinkerbell is not a princess, but
sure,
Tinkerbell she's hard as far as the features. There's that certain chin position, and I think coming from somebody and I've done portraiture, I've done serious portraits, but to draw cartoons, I'm tempted to make it 3D like. That's why I think I like Pixar, because at least that's 3D, a little bit closer to home for me,
Okay.
But the 2D ones are the ones that I'm having a hard time,
Yeah, so you're saying that when you can render something with all the different shading and stuff like that, that's a little bit more in your wheelhouse than a flat character.
Right. And again, there's when you think about Mickey Mouse, there's like different eras where Mickey himself changed, because it's a different artist that approached Mickey through the years. So I got to be able to be right on with, if I want to do a nostalgic Mickey, then it's got to be, the Steamboat Willie type of Mickey, then it's got to be that. Or the modern one,
Sure. Yeah. There are very precise measurements to these characters, and that's one of those things that I've always loved about cartooning, is if you get one of those lines slightly off, it can look like a different character altogether.
Right, and it's good because humbling and good at the same time. Because every piece that we would do on the Disney Fine Art program, we would submit it to DCP, Disney Consumer Products, for approval. And sometimes they would come back to us with comments. I said the arm is a little bit long, or he shortened the legs, or the color of the eyes needs to be this. And then I started to really get familiar with these characters when I started doing them.
I've noticed you like to paint a lot of light sources, very vibrant. Was that always something that you were into before the Disney stuff happened?
Yeah, I would do my Hawaii stuff is sort of dreamy kind of thing. In fact, I would not do. This one is pretty special because it's the exact place. But a lot of my versions of Hawaii is my own version of Hawaii. It's not an actual place. It's like the way.
The way Hawaii makes you feel, probably, is what you're saying.
Yes. Even and it's so freeing to do something without any reference, I would say. You do your own sunset, and I've seen countless of sunsets and sunrise and moonlights in Hawaii. So I got a lot of arsenal in my mind when I try to approach a canvas and doesn't copy anything, and then do my own ways, my own rock formation, and stuff like that. And I think that's what Michael Young, the Disney, the collector's edition company, the one that had the exclusive license for Disney Fine Art, that's what caught them of my art. If I could transfer what I do on Disney. And it's amazing though, because it's like tapping to the energy of all these movies already, and salute to all these artists that have created this, because I'm just tapping on that energy and doing my own spin to it, which is great.
It is.
Yeah.
You mentioned that after doing some of these paintings that you got to know some of the characters better. Which characters do you feel like you now have a really personal relationship with? Are there a couple?
I would say I've done a lot of Beauty and the Beast. I mean, my favorite princess obviously is Belle.
Okay.
I could do Belle pretty much right on, but when it comes to like Cinderella, the different well, Ariel too, I would say. I mean, Ariel has this distinct features that I could kind of do. I love Lion King for some reason. Stitch, like this one. See, I mean, it's Pirates of the Caribbean, but again, it's my own spin to it.
Yeah. You wouldn't look at it and think it has to be Disney. It could just be any pirate sort of a thing, right?
I've done Disney pieces without the characters. In fact, it's intentional. If I can get away from the characters, I will. And there are Disney collectors that really don't want a lot of the characters in them, or they just want to have suggestion,
like this guy right here, right?
Yeah.
Someone right there. I see. We don't know who it is though. It could be anybody.
Yeah.
But I like that you included the Kraken.
Yep. It's again, I enjoy the process. People would ask me, man, how long it takes you to do a painting? I mean, it depends. There are times that I'm right on, and in fact, a lot of the quick paintings that I've done are the ones that are really beautiful, because man, every stroke is right on. It's like that is going to be great. It's going to be a home run.
That is one of those questions that I never truly understand the motivation behind it, because I don't know about you.
Yeah.
But I don't time myself when I'm creating art. I mean, I just sit down and work for a while, and then I go away and I come back and work. I don't keep tally of all of the hours. And then for me, when I step away from my desk, I'm still working in my head. I'm still working it out. So I don't know. I don't know when it starts and stops, because I don't think it does. I think until the piece is finished, you're kind of always working on it. You know what I mean?
Now, do you do one piece at a time, or do you do multiple ones?
That's kind of a tricky statement. I would say typically I do one at a time, but a lot of the work I do is sequential. So so I mean, there could be a number of images that make up one piece. So it's hard to say. You know what I mean? It's like you said, it's different for everybody.
Yeah, for me, I love. I mean, there are pieces, if it's a small one, that I would do from start to finish. Like this one, it's a 10 by 10 piece. It's a commission from one of my collectors that I did in one sitting, and just
in one sitting, you did this painting?
Yeah. I would say from start to finish, 6-7 hours maybe. I mean, I would stop for lunch and stuff like that, then come back to it.
How dare you stop for lunch?
But I would, if you come to my studio, which is still being built right now, but in my old studio, I would have probably around 6 or 7 unfinished paintings.
Okay, sure.
Because I would I would literally stop and rest my eyes on a piece.
Right.
Yeah,
you have to give a break so you can come back with fresh eyes, right?
Yeah, and like what you said, I mean, you think about that piece, even though you're not seeing it.
Right.
But let's say after a couple of weeks, if I pick it up again, and I put it in the easel, then I could start seeing what's wrong. Because sometimes you hit a wall, you know there's something wrong, but you cannot pinpoint what.
How many times does someone say to you, Rodel, I know you think there's something wrong with this painting, but nobody but you is going to see that thing that's wrong. Do you hear that a lot?
Yeah, I'm my worst critic, so I'm never satisfied. Yes.
But that's the thing. Whenever someone says that, I'm always like, but I'll know.
You know what's good? I would bounce it off with other artists. Like, I mean, the ones that I know that won't hold back telling me, what they see. In fact, let's say, for instance, James Coleman. I love bouncing things off with him because I know that I can hear the honest truth about, because he knows my style. He knows what I do, and he could sort of give me suggestions here and there. I think you need to work on this area here or something. And sometimes, I didn't see that. I mean,
Okay, that's good to have at least someone in your field you can kind of count on like that.
Right.
So okay, now I was going to ask you, did the transition of painter to animation, let's say background painter, has that ever crossed your mind as a change in career?
I think it's more of not a change, but like an added feather on my cap, because I never really, I think when I was a kid, I would draw cartoons, the ones that I would watch when I was a kid, but I never really tried to do an art of that cartoon, like let's say the Hanna-Barbera Flintstones. I remember drawing Flintstones, Fred and stuff like that. But it's not like a painting. It's just sketch, Sure. I'd rather do, for me, it's like, I'd rather do serious paintings. Again, that's the, my mindset back then was like, how would I say it nicely? It's like, it's just cartoons, man. Anybody can do cartoons, right?
Right.
Only when I went to the thing that I have more respect now to people that are animators and illustrators. I mean, it's a whole new world, man.
If they asked you, if Disney said we want you to make backgrounds we're going to make another traditional animation movie, we're going to do it by hand, and we want Rodel Gonzalez to be painting the backgrounds, would you do it?
Man, I'll be honored. Yeah, I mean, because I think they're going back to that, because now obviously there's so many movies now that they did it digitally. I think it started with Beauty and the Beast on some scenes that, like the ballroom thing. I think that's when it started.
It started in the 80s, believe it or not. It started with, I want to say it was Rescuers Down Under, and then Oliver and Company. Those movies were when they started introducing computer graphics.
Really? I never knew that.
In the late 80s was when Beauty and the Beast was when they did it a lot more, but they kind of were introducing it a little bit in the 80s.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I would love, like when they did Lilo and Stitch, right? I mean, that's like all, it's not digital.
Well, the spaceships were when they had the spaceships, they were digital, just a little bit, but they did a good blending, I think, in that movie. There's it doesn't feel like there's too much computer influence. Speaking of Lilo and Stitch, here we are with, this is my personal favorite scene from Lilo and Stitch. I love Stitch with the Ugly Duckling book. It's my favorite part of the movie.
See, like this is on paper. I would do things on paper. So it's since I use white, so it's gouache, very opaque, right? I mean, but I do watercolors as well, where it's I use the white as a highlight, or the paper as a highlight, not use white at all.
Very clever.
Yeah,
that's great. I mean, really, it's beautiful, and you've got these little, I mean, these cartoon ducks, was that fun for you to do?
Yeah, they're so cute though. I mean, you
Yeah.
know, even just to, I love the imperfections, you know, because again, it's your own take on it. I mean, I know that if you look at the real scene of this, the other ducks are probably overlapping the book and things like that. But I just kind of like, you know, positioned them to where I felt like it's a good balance.
Well, in some ways, I envy you, Rodel, because I gotta say, like you just said, there's a certain level of freedom when you're doing just a one image shot, an interpretation. You don't have to keep repeating it over and over again, where it has to look the same every single time.
Mm-hmm.
And it probably is a lot more relaxing for you, I think, right?
Yeah, it is. I mean, there's no, because sometimes, I mean, if you ask me to repeat a painting, that would be probably the hardest thing.
Right. That's my
Yeah, you're like
hard.
you cannot repeat a painting. I mean,
Right.
It that's for one. I think you'll get bored because you've done it already. Like I said, I mean, I enjoy the process or the journey of creation, right?
Sure.
But if you have done something already and then they say, "Can you do that again?" I'm like, "No, I don't want to do it again." You know.
Well, here's a little of that Hawaiian influence coming in. This looks like a scene right out of Maui or something.
See, that one, they love, you know, again, mixing my own twist to it. That
Sure.
Again, that's not an actual place. I mean, the moon is so huge, right? I mean,
Hey,
the
nothing wrong.
wave is like a perfect wave, in my opinion. So it's still, I would.
But here's what I love, Rodel. I love this.
Get away with it if you think about it.
I love this. Yeah, you can get away with it, and you do get away with it. Look at this moonlight you've got right here in the wave. I love that.
Yeah.
That I probably shouldn't be zooming in that closely. It distorts the image, but no, that's gorgeous. I love that. Do you enjoy painting night scenes more than day scenes?
It's a challenge painting night scenes, you know, because there's less detail and you want to be subtle with again, I'm pushing like the mountains there. I mean, you don't at night, that's probably just all silhouetted. But
Sure.
you know, it's like it's staged now that I have to still do the mountains a little bit more, you know, when I can.
Sure.
The foliage and stuff like that. I mean, you don't really see the waves that white on the moonlight, but
right.
Again, I'm pushing it to the point where it still can be, right?
Sure, why not?
It can still be that way. Yeah.
It's an idealized moment. I mean,
Right.
your mind, it's captured that way. I think it works.
Yeah, and then I do I call it the 80-20 formula. 80% background, then 20% character, if I could get away with it. Yeah.
I understand you're a fan of Bambi. Have you done any Bambi paintings?
You know what? I've done probably my first 10 paintings in Disney Fine Art, and then that was it. Maybe I did a little bit of Thumper, and again, those little black and white paper stuff like that. But a major painting, I only did one. It's called Beautiful Flowers, and I think it's at the Disney Fine Art website.
Oh, okay. All right. So so if you go to DisneyFineArt.com, you can find Rodel has his section of art there. So if people want to find, let's say, a print or something, do you offer prints of your work?
Yeah, like you can find it on the different galleries that carries Disney Fine Art, and again, they're everywhere in terms of you know, they're all over Florida, St. Pete's. They have places in Tampa. They have you know, in Los Angeles, in Texas. But if you go to DisneyFineArt.com, you'll see all the lineup of artists for Disney Fine Art, and it's categorized on different. I think, like for me, I'm not the pop artist. There's a pop artist group, and there's the Legends group, and there's different groups there. I haven't memorized it yet, but
you're part of the oil painting group.
Probably. I mean, but you see, if you click on my name, then you see all my works that are published. That's why I mean all these things like this, Hank and Dory. I mean, they're not published. It's a one standalone original.
Oh, I see.
So a lot of what you showed a while back are standalone originals that were not published, that were collected by Disney fans, of course.
Sure.
But the ones on DisneyFineArt.com, those are the ones that they publish. They made it into limited edition prints. They made it into what they call treasures.
Okay.
The treasures are, some are like 11 by 14, different sizes. And it's still limited. It's like 1,500, I think, in edition size. But they go for like 150 to 200.
Okay.
Like that. Yeah.
Are there pieces that you do where when you're finished, you don't want to let it go and you tell them, hey, I'm sorry, I painted this for you, but I'm going to keep it?
You mean Disney? Or
Sure. Yeah, Disney.
Oh, okay. Because there's a lot on my own art that I felt like it has to end up with my kids or something.
Oh,
yeah. But Disney, I have a couple here of Disney pieces that, how would I say it in a nice way?
You don't have to say anything in a nice way for me.
No, because like I said, we would submit it on DCP, right? Disney Consumer Products, and then they would come back and say, "Hey, you got to change this, or do this way." And I said, "Well, what if I don't?" Right?
Okay.
Then we're not going to approve it. You cannot,
Well, can you give me an example? Do you remember a time when they said you have to change this, and you were not sure if you wanted to change it?
Okay, in fact, I have one right here. I can show you. All right.
Yes,
Okay. Hold on.
Sure. Can't wait to see this. Everybody watching at home right now, if you have questions for Rodel, go ahead and toss your questions in the comments section. And in about 5 or 10 minutes here, I'll see if we can get to some of those questions. Welcome back.
Okay, I did this very again. Sometimes I would do like black and whites and stuff like that.
Okay.
And tell me what you think. Did they disapprove on this? Hold on, let me see.
Oh man, I gotta take a closer look at this.
Wait. Let me. I don't know if I'm center on the thing. Am I center now? Not yet. I cannot see it. I don't have a monitor.
Let me see if I can. Nope. Okay, here I got you. Okay. Well, let's see. I'm gonna say they didn't want Pete smoking a cigar.
There you go. You got it right.
I got it right?
Yeah. So I don't want to take it out. It says that, well, you got to take it out because, there's so many don'ts now on, like, you cannot paint. Again, this is a representation of the characters. But this is true that, hey, he smoked a cigar, but.
Yeah. He smoked a cigar a bunch of times.
So I said, I'm just going to keep it.
Yeah. Well, good for you. I'm glad. Well, did you paint a different Mickey, Donald, and Goofy paint? No, you're like, we're just going to move on to the next one. We're going to do something.
Yeah.
All right.
They're out of the 600 plus pieces, I think I would say there were maybe about less than 10 pieces that were not approved because I refused to change some of it,
Wow.
And I feel like no.
Rodel, I got to tell you, you've got a lot of fans in the room right now. While we're talking, nothing but kind words has been pouring from this comment section.
We've
We've got people saying we got D. She's saying that your standalone originals are fantastic.
Thank you, D.
Let's see. Margie is asking, do you use any other media besides paint to create? Well, I'm assuming she also means besides music, because we know you're also this awesome musician. So besides music and besides paint,
yeah,
are there any other mediums?
Oh, I don't really understand the question in terms of what else do I do aside from art and music, or
charcoal, or
yeah, I do charcoal. I do. I don't do sculpture. I used to do that in school. I find that very hard because sometimes,
okay,
you're right. Let's say you're doing a face on clay. It looks good here, but in side view, it's not. So it's like, okay, this is not my thing. Although I would love to do that probably.
Sculpture. Okay. How about glass? You ever do anything with glass?
No, I've done metal art,
but not metal music.
No.
By the way, Melanie is asking, she says, you should ask Rodel to play his guitar and sing. He's phenomenal.
No, let's not do that. Next time, maybe we'll do that.
All right, we'll bring you back for a concert.
Just like I said, it's all my stuff are in boxes. And
oh, yeah, you just moved.
Yeah, so this is the most good area of the house. The rest are not.
We got another question here from Amanda. Yeah. Amanda says, do your kids' preferences and favorites ever influence your work?
Yeah. In fact, my daughter, my very first painting, which is Moments Away, it's a Cinderella castle piece, and then I remember we were driving the car, and I was asking my daughter. My daughter was 2008. I gotta get this right. How old was she? She's probably like 11 or 12. But anyway, I asked her. I said, "What do you think I should paint? I should paint first?" And she said, "Dad, do Cinderella, right?" And I said, "Okay. Do we still have a VHS of that? like." Or DVD, like we don't have DVD, we had a VHS probably. So I was thinking, okay, what scene in Cinderella? So I asked her, I said, what scene do you think? Where she became a princess and she was about to go to the castle. I'm thinking, okay, that's the highlight of it, And I believe in titles. I mean, even when I write a song, I think of a title first.
Oh.
Yeah. So I have a theme, and that's where I base, the tempo of the song, the melody and everything. So I got to have a title somehow. So when she says, when she became a princess, it's like moments away that, she's going to meet the prince. And I said, moments away.
Oh, I love it.
Right. So when I had that, that's when I did Moments Away, the very first piece.
Beautiful. So
I love, and then she challenged me too, like, Dad, how come you've attacked so many movies already, but you never do 101 Dalmatians?
So you have done since then, right?
I've done one just to prove to them that I can do it. And she's the one that's counting all the puppies. And I made a mistake too, because I thought 101 puppies, not including.
Oh,
I did 103 on the original.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
And the one that commissioned me to do that, the one that bought it, no, when I submitted it first, it says you have 2 extra puppies. You did 103 instead of 101. But someone bought the original already. It's a 30 by 40.
Wow.
And her name is Carla. I said, Carla, I gotta get back the original because I gotta take out the 2 puppies. And she said, no, let it be like when you scan it, just digitally erase the 2 puppies, but I want to keep the 103 Dalmatians. So the original has 103, but the print has 101, of course.
How do you make a digital copy? Is there a giant scanner that you put it on, or are you photographing it, or what are you doing to get?
In the beginning, I would submit it to the original goes to Collector's Editions, and they have a scanning machine over there.
Okay.
And then obviously through the years, I mean, it's just really a camera now. You just got to buy a good camera lens. So I just did my setup just maybe about a year and a half ago, so I can scan my own pieces now. Because when I moved to Florida, it was so hard for me to send all my originals to California. When I was in California, it was okay. I would just drive to their, a warehouse and drop my pieces. But when I moved here 4 years ago, I'm thinking, man, I mean, I'm spending time doing boxes, and I make sure that everything is safe and all. So I just invested on my own scanning equipment, which that's obviously
that's not cheap either. Those scanners are pretty expensive, right?
Yes, it is. But I mean, I'd rather do that in the long run since I want to document everything.
How big of a scanner is it?
It's a camera. It's just a camera.
Okay,
right.
Gotcha.
But I think you got to have a good pegboard. Make sure it's 90 degrees. And it used to be that those old with the dolly thing.
Yes.
And I mean, for them to be able to take it, it takes hours to scan a painting. Sure. Now it's just a shot.
Right.
It's just like a camera, click, boom. But you got to have the right lighting and all, and set up, and that's what the expensive part.
What's that?
That's the expensive part. The lighting and the program and all these things. But
there is somebody in the room, Rodel, who is also named Rodel.
Okay.
Rodel Teresa Penelflor.
Yeah. Okay, I know him.
He is saying, do you have any interest in going back to the music industry, like making more great songs?
Well, the fact of the matter is, and I don't want to preempt this, but during COVID, right? Because again, for me, art is something that balances me. It gives me so much positivity. I love the creative process of art. It's therapeutic. Same with music, because sometimes when I, let's say, sit on this artist chair after 2-3 hours, I get up, I grab my acoustic guitar and just play whatever. And sometimes a melody would come into me, and I was thinking, oh, this is a great melody, But after about a couple of days, I would forget what I'd done. So during COVID, what I did was I set up a very basic home studio recording, with the computer, the audio interface, and all sort of whatnot, the right condenser mics and all. Okay. So I'm starting to write again. But to go back to music in a major way, I don't know. I don't want to reinvent the wheel. I mean, I love to, like when I became a musician after dropping art, I thought that was it. That's why I get derailed every single time, because I thought I've been a musician all my life, but things change. I went full time in the ministry. I went to serve a church, and from there, when I moved to Hawaii, I said I'm going to become an artist again, and I'm going to do this, till kingdom come, But and again, I might be displaced again or derailed again, but for me, it's just it's got it's got to feel right, you know.
Yeah. But you'll always be Rodel. As long as you're being true to yourself, then you'll always be Rodel. And
I always tell my kids, you gotta be the best version of you.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what I'm trying to achieve. And I feel like with the art and the music, well, what is this? Sorry. There's like this bug. Well, you're in Florida. Where's my thought? You know, let me put it this way.
Watched it.
I am grateful. I am grateful. I'll turn 61 this year, Phil.
Oh, wow. You look great.
Thank you. Thank you. And I feel like God has blessed me or given me the opportunity to wake up every single morning knowing that I could do what I love to do. You know, from music to art. Oh, from art to music. So, and then back to art again. So I made a full circle.
Yeah.
And then I might do music again because I'm writing again. So I think what drives me is really, you know, the passion behind it is the creative process. Again, I love the thing about art, though. You caress or you romanticize with the canvas.
Sure.
In music, though, it's fun to collaborate with people. It's like if I'm going to jam a song with you, I would pick your brain and you know, see what you have to say. Sure. If I do this, and then you're going to answer me back with whatever, you know, a line or a thing. So that's the thing I miss.
Okay, yeah.
Music. When you play with a band and you know just one look and you don't say anything, it's like you connect to the same thing that you want to do. So
you know, the nice thing about that, Rodel, is a house is not just a roof, and it's not just walls, and it's not just a floor. It's all those things. And so you are not just a painter, and you're not just a musician. You're all those things.
Oh, amen. I like that. I like that. So, so to answer Rodel, I mean, who knows? I'm not putting a period on anything right now.
Excellent.
I love both. I love art. I love what I do for Disney, for Star Wars, and my own personal art. At the same time, I love my new toy again to do recording when I'm on break, and I love it. I love it.
I completely forgot to mention Star Wars, but yes, Rodel also has a ton of wonderful Star Wars art as well, which I'm sure that's a whole nother topic. But unfortunately, we're out of time.
Oh, okay.
But I'd love to talk more with you, Rodel. This has been really wonderful, and thank you so much for sharing your experiences and your gorgeous work with all of us tonight.
Well, thank you, Phil. I mean, I would love to check out your art as well. I know we have not really known each other that well, but just to see the background, man, I'm curious. What are those?
Yeah, guys, yeah, I'll make sure I show you some work after tonight's call. I'll make sure I share some stuff with you. But thank you for being here, and we'll talk soon. And keep making amazing paintings, man.
It's an honor, Phil. Thank you so much for allowing me to be part of your show.
The honor was mine. Thank you.
All right, stay safe.
You too. Bye.
Bye.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. This has been such a great night. I really appreciate everyone here. I'd like to thank once again Rodel Gonzalez for taking the time to share his gorgeous art with all of us. And so it was really a treat. And thank you once again. Every week I like to thank you guys, but thank you to all my Stay Tuned patrons. You know, your support continually encourages me each and every month, and it helps me make it possible to keep doing what I do as an independent creator. So if you enjoy these weekly free shows and you'd like to support them and see them continue, I encourage you to visit patreon.com/Phil Machi, and you can learn more about the various reward tiers and even sign up today. And while you're at it, you guys can also check out my original comic books at philmachi.com, and be sure to say hi to me here on Facebook, or if you like, on Instagram, and yes, even Twitter, even though I don't really use it. Just under my own name or under Retail Sunshine. And once again, I'd like to invite you guys to join the amazing Stay Tuned community page right here on Facebook. There's free daily news from the world of all things animated, and there's a wonderful community of people starting to share ideas and enjoy just cartoons of all kinds. So go ahead and get involved right now at facebook.com/groups/Stay Tuners. I've been Phil Machi. You have been a wonderful audience. And until next week, keep those eyeballs peeled, those ears open, and be sure to stay tuned.